Hey y'all, my name is Samantha James. I am a Richland County Farm Bureau member, and I'm also a South Carolina Ag in the Classroom ambassador, and I also teach 4th grade. Today I'm going to be reading a patriotic book called Independence Cake, and is written by Deborah Hopkins and Giselle Potter. Let us imagine Amelia Simmons' father was a soldier, lost in the war for independence. Soon his poor widow would follow, succumbing to smallpox and leaving our poor girl alone in the world. The leading town ladies asked, "What shall we do with Amelia?" The answer was clear to all. She must go to Miss Bean. Amelia would be a bound girl, taken in by a family to help with chores, so the town would be spared the cost of keeping her. And Miss Bean needed help. She had 6 strapping sons and no daughter of her own. Definitely a recipe for domestic disaster in 1789. "Hello, Miss Bean," Amelia called into the kitchen when she arrived. Then she spied a hand waving weakly under stacks of shirts, piles of plates, and mountains of mending. "Don't despair, Mrs. Bean, I'm here." Amelia was as strong and young as the new nation itself. From that day on, she cleaned clothes, scrubbed pots, picked apples, fed the chickens, and gathered the eggs. She learned to spin and knit and sew, quilt and weave and hoe. Each evening, Amelia brought Miss Bean a cup of tea and a thick slice of honey cake. Miss Bean sighed with contentment, resting her feet for what seemed like the first time in years. "Thank you, my dear," she said. "You brightened our lives like a star on the flag." "Amelia," said Miss Bean one day, "you've always done everything I've asked and have even learned to read by helping little Billy with his letters. Is there any service I can do for you?" Amelia had a ready answer. "Well, all your cookbooks are from England, but we are independent now. I want to learn good, plain American cookery and share recipes with my fellow citizens. Chores and cooking too." From what Miss Bean said, that was the icing on the cake. Soon, Amelia was up to her elbows in flour. She learned to boil, broil, bake, and braise, tarts, creams, and custards. She took charge like General Washington himself. First, Amelia learned to cook the best English dishes. She turned out rice puddings, bread puddings, lemon, plum, and quince puddings. She preserved peaches, pickled cucumbers, and made marvelous marmalades. Then, once she mastered the old favorites, Amelia came up with new recipes using American ingredients. There was winter squash pudding, perfect on an autumn day, and she used cornmeal to make scrumptious flapjacks with maple syrup. The Bean boys demolished stacks of them. Just like her times, Amelia was revolutionary. She invented a new way of baking using potash to help her cakes rise. And what delicious cakes they were. Whenever she went to town, Miss Bean bragged about Amelia, boasting of her cakes and how the Bean boys loved them. So it's no surprise that one fine morning, a delegation of leading town ladies arrived. Amelia served tea biscuits with strawberry preserves. For a long time, there was only chewing and smiling. Then the first town lady cleared her throat. "As you know, our nation has just elected General Washington, our president. Long live George Washington," everyone bellowed. Everybody, that is, except for the Bean boys, who had sneaked in for biscuits and whose mouths were full. "Our new president will soon be inaugurated in New York City," she went on. To mark this monumentous occasion, people from all over are sending gifts to be displayed in Federal Hall. The first town lady stopped to lick her finger, so the second town lady put in, "Amelia, we'd be proud if you would agree to bake a cake in his honor." Amelia clapped her hands. "I know just the thing, an independence cake. Though, to feed all those guests, we'll need more than one." Amelia got busy. She used, among other things, 20 pounds of flour, 15 of sugar, and 10 of butter, 4 dozen eggs, beaten well of course, a quart of brandy, spices, currants, and raisins, and lots of yeast, to be sure the cakes would rise to this auspicious occasion. Amelia's Independence cakes were baked to perfection. Then, together with the boys, she frosted them with sugar, dressed them with gold leaf, till they shone like their hopes for the land she loved. "How many do we have?" our plucky patriot asked when they were done. 13, said little Billy Bean, 1 for each colony. "Let's name them together, boys," she said, "in alphabetical order if you please. Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, and of course, Virginia." Mr. Bean hitched up the horses, and everyone piled in with all the cakes. Then off they went, unfurling flags and singing songs. The leading town ladies and the leading town men followed in a patriotic procession all the way to Federal Hall. There, Amelia Simmons, soon to be the authoress of the American Cookery, the first American cookbook, presented a slice of Independence cake to George Washington, the first American president. He proclaimed it delicious. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this book. I sure did. I hope to see you next time.